My intuition or is it my fear? Probably the number one question that I get asked as an intuition educator. And what I want everyone to know, and what I keep reminding myself, is that it is not one or the other. Fear is intuition, right? So, what do I mean by that? When we are in our subconscious fear programs, our shadows, our unconscious, yeah, has got good intel. It's giving us information about where we have a gap between our inner authority and the way we're showing up in the world. So instead of saying, is it my fear or intuition, can we embrace the idea that actually it is both? It is our intuition as fear. That subconscious fear program is arising not because you've done something wrong or something's gone wrong, but rather it's tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, you are forgetting your divine nature, your infinite truth. You're forgetting your quantum truth. So let's bring you home. Let's course correct back to a higher, truer way of being and embodying our intuition, our lives. I invite you to look at that the next time fear just seems to come out of nowhere, when there's panic in the body, when there's nothing externally going on that you need to be in fear of. What is that fear inviting you to know? How can you get yourself more intimate with that fear rather than running away from it? I will come back with more on this particular topic and how I can help support you to know the difference and to understand ultimately there is no difference, and that all fear from the subconscious is a form of intuition leading us home. So much love. Next part of is it fear or is it intuition comes to the idea that we now know that fear showing up as a subconscious program, a self-sabotage, a limiting belief, whatever it is not the same as psychological fear. Sorry, not the same as physiological fear. So what I mean by that is physiological fear is when the body is giving us the cortisol and adrenaline to get up and out of danger, out of harm's way, right? The psychological fear of the subconscious programs arising is when, say, we go to start a business or create a new offer and we're all in the creative energy and it's flowing and we're so excited, and then it comes time to hit publish on the page or to let people know about it, and we collapse into say a dorsal vagal response where we can't take action. We suddenly feel really cloudy in our judgment. We don't believe in what we're offering having any value. That is a subconscious fear program arising, and that is intuition. So that is something that we will normally try to run from instead of going towards. We're only able to go towards our fear as intuition when we have that safety in our nervous system. So there's no point saying, fear is intuition, go sit with it and figure out what it is, if you have no capacity to feel safe within yourself to hold that. So we have to create that nervous system fitness so that we're able to find the courage to sit with the discomfort rather than numb it, run from it, do things to distract ourselves. So how do we cultivate a state of being, a nervous system that will allow us to meet our subconscious fears, which are arising because they're ready to be released? They're not arising because we've failed. They're not arising because we've done something wrong. It's not saying, oh gosh, that program shouldn't be launched because all this fear is rising, which means it's wrong. No, that is not the case, right? Divine inspiration has poured through you to bring you to that place where this is the thing that needs to be created. And we got to trust that. So our job is not to hit the brakes on that, but rather to tend to the fear. The fear is giving us information about where we are stuck in a belief that is incongruent with the action we're trying to take in the world, right? Do you hear that? So we want to maybe offer a program to teach more self-worth, right? Or more spiritual self-esteem, or more capacity to, navigate our lives through the awakening process, whatever it is. And we are not yet congruent with what we want to offer. So this fear is rising to say, hey, let's release this so that you can create and serve in congruence with what you're offering. Not about being perfect, not about having solved any problems, not having all your ducks in a row, but the humility to be willing to see that our service is our medicine. Whatever it is that we want to offer to others, we are the first receiver of. So how do I create the conditions? For me, it is the 4 S's: stillness, silence, solitude, and slowness. So that every day we are creating at least a few minutes with these qualities: intentional stillness, allowing everything to come into a pace and an energy where we're not rushing, there's nowhere to be, we're not hustling, we're not hurrying ourselves. Coming into that silence, intentional silence, withdrawing our attention from the superficial world, from the distractions, the noises, the social media, the images, the books, the journals, everything that keeps us in the mind rather than in the body's intuitive intelligence. Next, we want to have that solitude, to be intentionally alone, not lonely, not isolated, but having periods of time where we are not engaging with others, we're not in conversation, we're not available, we're just holding ourselves in our own energy. And that is a gift to the mystic. The stillness, silence, and solitude are essential qualities for all of us who have that mystic within them. And slowness is a new one that I have started sharing because we live in such a rapid fire world with such an assault on our senses in the way that we consume media, the way that we engage with our activities, the way that we build our lives, that we are always on the run. So how can we bring that sense of slowness, slowing everything down? That doesn't mean we're going to be inefficient, doesn't mean we're not going to meet the requirements, but the energy that we bring to what we do is not harried, it's not hurried, it's not coming from that dysregulation. So if we are willing to give ourselves even 5-10 minutes of this each day, we start to prepare the nervous system to feel safe to sit with discomfort. Normally, when fears arise from the subconscious and we get uncomfortable, we look to distract ourselves. We move into our addictive patterns and behaviors. Can instead we just sit in that fire of that discomfort, because our job really isn't to try to solve it, right? As I said, it's arising because it's ready to be let go. It's no longer congruent with who we are becoming. It wants to do what the body is built to do, which is to detox this fear when the conditions are provided for that to happen. So part of our job is just being willing to witness that fear, to sit in the discomfort, and then to let it do its own work of detoxifying from the body. And if we aren't shoving it back down because we don't want to feel it, we don't want to see it, we don't want to know it, or we feel like it's a failure that we haven't figured that part out of yet, we will bury it further and further down and making it harder for it to arise intuitively, organically. So creating the conditions allows the detoxification of the subconscious to happen without us going, how do I do it? How do I fix this? There's nothing to fix. What if there is no problem? What if the body knows what to do when we give it the right conditions to release that which no longer serves us? We don't need to carry that program anymore. And we can involve tapping, for example, as a beautiful way to support the nervous system to let go. We can just tap at the high heart center like this, or on the side of the hand. We don't need to do anything fancy. We don't need to use statements. We're just producing that piezoelectricity, which helps the body detoxify that unhelpful subconscious program. We can use breath. We can, of course, use any of our tools that we are already working with. But the idea is we're not fixing or solving. We're getting out of the way. We're letting the body do what it knows how to do. We're letting the subconscious purify itself by stopping seeing it as a problem, by getting out of the way and letting that intelligence lead. And if we have the courage to do that, that will be far quicker and more efficient than us spending more and more of our life trying to analyze, solve, fix, look at it from every angle, justify, however we might work with that. So the body knows how to release this subconscious program. Our intuition is fear. Fear is intuition, right? There is a beautiful symbiotic relationship there. And yes, once that program is gone, we will have more self-esteem. We will trust our intuition even more. We will have clarity on how to take the actions that we're setting in motion. So when your fear arises, especially when you are emerging into something new, see it as a really good sign. You have done something that has allowed your evolution to continue to take place. It's not a problem. It's not that you're not ready. It's not that the offer is wrong. It is that it is timely that this program can now be released so that you are congruent with what it is that you're creating and sending forth into the world. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for listening, and sit with that idea that subconscious fear programs are a form of intuition. They have good information. They can lead us to that place of detoxification of the subconscious to free up more space for our intuitive intelligence. And our job most of the time is simply to get out of the way and let the process happen. So much love to you all.